with Otto Hudec for HYPER Annotations 3.0 triple ampersands public program. Otto, thank you for being here.
Thank you too.
Otto is the artist behind the Slovak Pavilion, and actually we're technically standing right in front of it. Can you tell us a little bit about it, please?
Well, I can say that it's not really Slovak Pavilion, but Czechoslovak Pavilion, because we share this pavilion with the Czech Republic. It has an interesting history because we were once, as people might know, one country, and this pavilion is a common property of both republics. And this year is also quite specific because sometimes it happens that there is an exhibition of a Slovak artist, then of the Czech artist. Yes. Sometimes it's collaborative. And this year there is a project by Czech artist Eva Koťatkova inside of the pavilion, and by me and other people, a team of people in the exterior of the pavilion here.
Yes. And tell us what's going on in the exterior. What is the sort of subject matter or theme?
And the theme of the project, as you might see, is related to the trees.
Yes.
To mostly endangered trees. Some of them still exist, some of them not. But it's also dedicated to activists, protesters who were trying to protect these trees.
Yes, yes. And can you tell us a bit about how this relates to the larger theme of this year's Venice Biennale, which is foreigners everywhere?
I find it quite interesting because when I was thinking about the project, it started before I was invited into Biennial. And I often create works that have some utopian aspect, and I'm imagining some imaginary space where something that cannot be saved could be saved. So the name of the project is Floating Arboretum, and it's some kind of a utopian landscape where the trees are moving to the safer place.
To a safer place.
And so in fact the trees are also in certain situations, especially in environmental degradation, somehow foreigners that are traveling to almost like immigrants, you know.
And each of the trees we see is from a different place on Earth, basically?
Exactly.
Yes.
And there are almost 20 trees around, painted around the pavilion.
Yes.
And each is a specific tree, and 11 of these trees, they have a specific song composed for them.
Oh, wow.
Based on their story. So that's what is possible then to read through QR codes around the pavilion.
Yes.
So we worked with the composer, with the poet who created the story and composed the songs.
Yes, yes. And how did this collaboration go about between you, perhaps the curator, and the composers, and the poet? How did it happen practically?
It happened very naturally. I actually had the opening yesterday, and I had to mention this, that I felt like we were part of some kind of artistic family.
Oh.
I already worked with a composer before, not with the poet, but I had a feeling that everybody contributed their soul to the project.
Yes.
It wasn't like just like we asked some professional to do something. And I think our visions really work well together. I was, for example, surprised that I invited this composer. We even went here in November to see the space. And he knows so much about trees, even more than I do, you know, so this was like very natural.
He seems like a great match then.
Yeah.
So, is there any relationship between the trees we see painted on the walls and the trees we see in front of us right here?
Yeah, well, there is obviously a visual connection, and I am quite happy that we are here in the exterior, and the work communicates with the trees around. Yes. But there is one specific tree on this side of the pavilion, which is directly it's painted.
Yes.
And it's related with the recent history of the pavilion, because I cannot say, maybe 5 years ago there was a really strong storm in Venice.
Yes.
And this tree was broken, and a branch fell down on the roof.
Oh, wow.
There's supposed to be a glass roof over top of the pavilion. It broke down and the pavilion was closed for several years.
Yes.
It opened just for this year.
I see. Okay. Well, we like to end things on a bit of a light note. I want to ask you if there are any pavilions or shows that you're very excited to see or interested in seeing, perhaps ones you've already seen but that are very good or that stayed with you for some reason.
I have to say, because we had opening yesterday, so I was quite busy, and right now after the interview I want to see everything. From the pavilions that I saw, I really enjoyed the Spanish pavilion with the critical theme about colonialism, I would say, if I can simplify.
Yeah.
Very beautiful and large work, and also I like the pavilions which are maybe more subtle.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, right next to us there is the Japanese pavilion which also works with music, and I'm really wishing to see the Arsenale, and I identify a lot with the general theme of the
Yes.
biennial.
I see. Fantastic. Otto, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.